Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Hope Unscripted, a podcast by Hope Cancer Resources.
Today, we're launching on February 4th, which is World Cancer Day, which is really exciting and good timing for us. It's a day that reminds cancer patients that they're not alone, and everybody has a different story along that journey.
Hope Cancer Resources is a local nonprofit located in Springdale, Arkansas. We're on the busiest street imaginable, Sunset Avenue. Right past Chick-fil-A, right past Sam's. You literally can't miss us. Busiest street there is. Today, we're kicking off this series, and we are super excited to welcome the one and the only Mr. Chuck Hyde. Welcome, Chuck.
I'm really glad I'm here, I think. So,
you think?
So, yeah, absolutely.
All right, Chuck, let's kick this off. So I want people to get to know the real Chuck. So tell us, who are you, Chuck, outside of work?
I'd like to be able to say with full integrity, I'm a dad and a husband first. I'm blessed to be married to my high school sweetheart. We've got two kiddos that are young adults now, and just doing that well matters a lot to me. And so it starts there. Things that I love to do, just where do I spend my time? I'm a sports junkie. I mean, I just we watch ESPN a lot in our house, and it's that and the Food Network. That's basically what's the only thing that's ever on in our house. So spend a lot of time doing that, surrounded by a great group of friends. My faith, very important to me in terms of who I am. And just, it's pretty simple and pretty boring, I call my mom, every week, and she's like, well, what's new? I'm like, well, kind of like the same as last week. So
maybe a surprising fun fact about you. What would somebody be shocked to learn about you?
So the question there is what do I want the two of you to know about me that you may not know yet? You both know that music, like I love music because it's always on in my office, right? It helps me work. I get a better rhythm. I just love it. What people would be surprised, probably the range of stuff that's on my playlist. Because there's a lot.
I've noticed.
It's and people sometimes we're in a meeting and it's playing and people stop because something comes on. Mm-hmm. So that's it. But I think the part that you might not know is so my mom was growing up always singing. Still today, she's 88. She sings a lot all the time, just around. My dad was country music, gospel quartet type stuff, and just always on. My sisters were pianists. We were all in the band. We were all in the choir growing up. So you may not know that I used to play the alto sax. As a saxophone, I sing a lot. I used to sing a lot more. I'm not going to break out into song here, but I sing in the car, sing in the shower, sing at church, not at work. So it probably, you probably don't know that just how deep music runs for me.
Wow. No. So employee meetings are going to get a lot more interesting. Especially the What's Up Chuck, right?
Yeah. Well, we had what was the thing? It was all about that.
All about
that shirt. We did that thing at the team meeting. So yeah.
Brand reveal shirts. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that.
Because it's all.
Okay. All right.
Let's move on.
Let's talk about what motivates you personally. You've been with Hope Cancer Resources about a year and a half now.
Yeah.
So what motivates you every day? Why do you get up out of bed, and why do you come to Hope Cancer and do the work that you're doing?
Yeah, it sounds like just the right answer to the question. It is our mission, but it is our mission, and I would say our team. We're surrounded by people who really care about our work, and they're really good at their jobs. When I got hired, my sister went onto our website and she was looking at our roster of folks, and she's like, "Wow, those people have a lot of initials behind their names." And we do. We've got, highly credentialed, highly trained professionals that do what we do. And so we're really good at it, and we do really important work, and that motivates me. And so at this point in my career, what did I want to be a part of? I wanted to be around really excellent people who do their jobs well. They take it seriously, and they're really good at it, and we're doing something that matters. And so for me to come in and contribute something to that matters a lot. We'll maybe get into it later, but cancer has affected my family just like so many. I don't know anybody that could sincerely say I don't know someone with a cancer story.
Yeah.
And so my family's no different than that. And so that's why I get up. I love coming to work. So yeah.
I thought you were going to say that your favorite thing about coming to work was the fact that your office is literally right next door to mine.
Okay.
And that you're down the women hallway. You're in the development hallway.
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't going to do this, but since you went there, this is rock. This is hard place. I'm stuck in the middle.
All the time.
And all you listeners out there, notice we put it right in the middle too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's it. He can't do it.
No, y'all are great at your jobs. We're doing, and we have a lot of fun. That's the thing. We take our jobs seriously, but there is banter is real. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun at each other's expense, good natured, and we move on. But it keeps work that can be heavy. It brings some levity to it that helps sustain us. And I think that's an important part of our work and our workplace. And, and I'm one that usually a lot with my head down because we got stuff to do, but it is fun to laugh at work and do it here. So, yeah.
Agree 100%.
And for someone who might just be learning about Hope Cancer Resources and what this is, how would you describe what Hope is?
Yeah, I think for people that are now having to confront cancer, right? They've got a diagnosis. Most of the folks we deal with are in treatment, and they've been given that diagnosis. And so while we don't do anything medical directly, right, we are the support function around that. And so comprehensive is a word we use a lot. And so we're talking about, what can we do to help with access to the physical diet? The cancer first is physical, right? And so how do we get people to access to care? And that's access to their prescriptions, and supporting that. It is our gym. I know we're going to talk to Hannah later, and what we do for personal training and fitness, tobacco. There's a lot of things we do physically to help supplement and help improve outcomes. Mm-hmm. And research continues to show things that, this is what improves outcomes is if you stay on your treatment plan on time, you're not late for appointments, you don't miss appointments. You can get your prescription. So we, I think, play a complementary role first in how people can get better physically. Mm-hmm. Then there's the emotional component, right? How do we provide the right level of emotional support to someone who, whether you're the person with cancer or you're a loved one and you're a caregiver, that affects it. We're all doing it. And the people in my life that have battled cancer, it's not just the person with the diagnosis, it's everyone. And so we actually help that group of folks too, right? In terms of that emotional support, counseling, support groups, workshops, all the things that are down that road. And then I had singing the adjacent, like, how can we help navigation? Because it's complicated and it's scary. If we can take complicated and make it simple, and if we can take scary, make it feel safe. Mm-hmm. And I think our team does a really good job of that. So that's in a nutshell what we do. I would say this one time early in my time at Hope Cancer, one of our team members said, we want to be the one-stop shop for cancer support. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, can I edit that just slightly? And yeah, sure. It's like, can we be the first stop shop? Because when you're the one-stop shop, then we've got to do everything, right? And there's no need because there's other cancer-serving organizations in Northwest Arkansas that do great work that is different than ours. Right. So we can help referral, we can help navigate because there's no point in having the redundancy, right? So, but if when a person in a doctor's appointment, or when someone at church or their neighbor or at the soccer game says so-and-so has just got diagnosed with cancer, do they know about Hope Cancer Resources? That should be the first thought if we're doing that well. And then we may not be the answer, but we know how to get them to the answer.
Yeah, I love that. Chuck, today's a pretty special day, February 4th.
Yep.
It's World Cancer Day. And also February is National Cancer Prevention Month. And so tell us a little bit, what does that mean to Hope Cancer Resources? What does that mean to you as the leader of Hope Cancer Resources?
Yeah, I mentioned a minute ago, most of what we do is from once a diagnosis has been made or treatment is active, right? And so I would say downstream of a diagnosis, most of what we do is helping someone on that journey. I've been asking the question with our team, with our board, as y'all know, what role do we have upstream of that? How can we get ahead of that? So when you think about support, educate, prevent as a tagline, support's pretty clear. We've developed that muscle very well. Not instead of, but in addition to, how can we do more in the education and prevention space? And the things that I've been just struck by in my 18 months here as I've continued to learn more about what people are experiencing is how many choices we have available to us just as people every day that can reduce or mitigate our exposure or mitigate our risk of cancer in the first place, or early upstream detection. If we can get someone through a screening or through resources where we catch something at stage 1 instead of stage 3 or 4, we know the outcomes are better, right? And so I just feel like we have a mandate to increase that in a way that is, again, it doesn't detract from those that are now in the fight.
Right. Yeah.
But it's how do we help promote people's awareness to the choices we have available to us.
So now that you're in this new role, 18 months is a long time, even as a new.
It's longer for our staff. There's like dog years, there's Chuck years. I mean, I get, ask anybody. I'm guilty.
Agree with that.
Yes.
But what has surprised you the most stepping into this role of this organization coming from previous?
I think what surprised me is just the prevalence of it. You know, when you look at some of the stats and how many active cancer patients there really are in Northwest Arkansas, and then really we're at capacity. Like we've got wait lists on some of our services. We can't do more because we don't have the people or the time or the money, the space, whatever. And we're still serving a fraction of the active cancer patients in Northwest Arkansas. I mean, there are patients that may just not need our help, and that's wonderful. I'm glad they've got alternative support systems. That surprised me, but then you start thinking about all the growth projections of Northwest Arkansas and where that's going to take us. Like how we keep up with that has been surprising. I think some of the surprising, again, just things that I didn't know. Like I didn't know that a lot of commercially available sunscreen was actually contain things that create toxins for your skin when exposed to the sun. That doesn't pass the say it out loud test for me. Sorry, right? Yeah. But like if we can go, oh, here's how you read a sunscreen label, and we can teach people that. Like that's exciting to me. That's surprising. I did not know that. I started wearing sunscreen late in my life, which has created my own needs for treatment, frankly. But I didn't know those kinds of things. So it's this discovery of information that as everyday people, I don't know that we pay that close of attention. Or maybe we don't care. I don't know.
So many things that are just daily in everybody's life that you wouldn't think about having a risk to anything.
Yeah.
My goal this year, I do not make New Year's resolutions, but my goal this year is every morning before I do my makeup, I'm wearing sunscreen. And I have been consistent. I'm so proud of myself. So
I've been doing that. No, I have been doing that. I'm very proud of myself because, you do think about it.
So things that might support you. My dermatologist said, here's your moisturizer. So I moisturize every day, y'all.
Yeah.
But it has sunscreen in it, the right kind that, keeps me from having to continue to deal with some of the, carcinoma that I've had cut out for me. So, yeah.
Smiley did that.
You didn't know that. I moisturized.
He moisturized. All right, Chuck. We're going to get real serious for a minute.
Okay.
And it's going to be kind of a vulnerable moment. Okay. And I'm going to ask a lot of you because I know we all have a personal cancer story around us.
Yeah.
And so I want you to share with our listeners your reason and your personal story around cancer.
Yeah. I mentioned my own, when I talk about my skin cancer, those are inconveniences, right? And they're real, but it's inconvenience. Let's be real about that. My wife has been, and for years, been diagnosed, or not diagnosed, not the right word, identified as super high risk. So she does things that most don't have to do, even on the preventative scale, right? And so she's been, fortunately, we've had some like, hey, there's something we got to take a look at, but we've never had that news of we've got to address cancer. So we're thankful for that. So, but I would say that's always there for us. Mm-hmm. But 3 years ago, my family, my sister lost her husband, Brad, and my wife's sister, Emily, lost her husband, Brent, within 8 weeks of each other.
Yeah.
Brad was 60, Brent was 50. Two great guys, gone way too soon. Wives, kids, the whole bit, right? Their communities, both active in their communities, just pillar type guys. And, they lived in parts of the state that didn't have Hope Cancer resources. And, so as a brother and a brother-in-law, as an uncle, as a dad, and then explaining to my boys, because they were early teenagers at the time. And, you explain like this is what happens, and bang bang 8 weeks within, and each of them really different, very different experiences with cancer. And one of the things I've learned is that every story is unique, every experience is unique, and there are common threads that I think anybody experiencing that would identify with. It was just devastating. And so I've seen through my family what it's like to deal with that today, then and after, again, because, cancer still is there for my family. Like they're still two, empty seats at the table for a couple of homes there. And that grief is real and all that, and for us as a family, it's just there. So I saw what they didn't have access to, and to think that at Hope we can provide those things to people here in Northwest Arkansas. So we can't do it, but we can do this, and we can do it really well. And those gaps don't have to be there for people. And so it's deeply personal for me. So that's what we got to do.
Thank you.
That's what we get up. That's what we get up and do.
I know that's hard to talk about. I appreciate you sharing that. I'm going to shift us just a little bit because you said a lot of important things right there about care and the things that we do, we can do them well.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about access to care and whole health in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that's great about where we live, there's so many good things about Northwest Arkansas, but as it becomes more, the investments that are being made in healthcare in our region are staggering, and we're so blessed to have those kinds of resources, not just in our healthcare systems for just everyday needs, but the specialists that come, our oncology practice here. I mean, Highlands does such a good job in what they do, but there's a spirit of regionalism that has, again, you think about sort of we'll call it the founding fathers of Northwest Arkansas from a regionalism standpoint, like that expresses itself in very real ways in so many aspects around Northwest Arkansas, and healthcare is one of them. Well, more and more we see, again, I think access to care, like let's be real for a minute, as affluent as a region as we have, as many resources as we have, there are still people in great need who don't have the same access to care that everyone has. And I think that's a fair statement.
For sure.
Now, what solution can we provide in terms of solving for access? We went to you might remember this, but about a year and a half ago when I first started, we went to a regional, the council had sponsored it. Might have been U of A, but anyway, it was they're like, what problem are you solving? There was an entrepreneurial question. Well, if you're an entrepreneur, you better solve a problem. Don't have the solution looking for a problem. This solves a problem. Well, access to care is a problem we can help solve. So for us, transportation is one of the ways in which we can solve the access to care problem. Our van fleet does that every single day. So we're 8 vans running every day, over 30,000 miles a month. All the different routes we run. I mean, and what that looks like, that gets people to treatment that could not otherwise get there. Again, to the earlier point, it keeps them on schedule. They aren't late for an appointment. An appointment isn't delayed, and it's not missed. That's improving outcomes. So getting people who wouldn't even have the physical right, and we've got different forms of transit. Now, I'm not saying that that's not there, but I think that getting people access to their prescriptions. We know what medication does in this country, and we know that medication related to cancer, super expensive. If we can help offset some of those kinds of things, if we can help people get to a dental appointment because the treatment needs have affected them from we can help with dental support, right, in those kinds of ways. And maybe it's not, I don't need a ride, but it's, gas, and I've got this many appointments. Mm-hmm. Well, we can help you with gas cards, right, to help offset some of that cost. So we've got ways in which just getting people to their appointment is huge. And I think the other part of that, sort of building on this, and I think we're going toward this whole health question, and we're super fortunate in our region that we've got a whole health conversation going on in Northwest Arkansas. has been going on for several years. It's an emphasis. It's a regional priority. And I love that. I would argue, I'd be bold enough to say, Hope has been doing whole health for 16 years. And it goes back. So again, while we aren't doing the medical treatment, we're surrounding that with whole health support of lifestyle choices, nutrition, fitness and taking care of your body, emotional support. What is that? What am I doing there? The psychological components of what it means to face cancer and deal with it. We are taking a holistic view. And again, while we can't do it all, we have subject matter experts in these areas that can surround this medical experience, if we want to call it that. And I think that's a whole health expression. And I think we do that pretty well. And so I think we're already consistent. And I would argue, be bold enough to say we're a working example of what that can look like in our region.
Okay. So I pulled some stats recently, and the American Cancer Society just released their 2025 annual report. And in Arkansas alone last year, there was almost 20,000 new cancer cases.
Yeah.
Just in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And that ranges from any different type. They have them all broken down individually on what each one looks like. But why do you think it's so important for our community to pay attention to that and not ignore it?
Well, I think it's putting numbers to what we know. Again, we said earlier, who knows somebody with a cancer story? Most of us raise our hand, and either that's ours, it's our loved ones, or it's our coworkers, or it's our neighbor, whatever it is, right? And so that's putting numbers to what we intuitively know, and those are new patients. And I think the other thing is what we're seeing, and I've read a lot of articles recently where cancer is affecting more young people. Yeah. Right. It's happening early. We've kind of like, oh, wow, you're retired age, and you're along in your years, and you've got cancer. Now, we're seeing it a lot earlier. Research has its reasons for why that's true. So I think it's not just that it's growing, it's where it's growing and in what forms is it taking. And so to be able to pay attention to that, in Northwest Arkansas, my understanding and talking with some of our community medical partners is that we're around 28,000 active cancer patients in Northwest Arkansas. We helped about 4,000 of those last year, right? We also know from every forecast, this region is going to continue to grow. So again, we'll talk about the state. Well, let's talk about Northwest Arkansas. We know our population is going to be over 1 million at whatever year.
Families a day.
It's right. It's a matter of, what rate are we increasing to that? It's not, it's really about what year, what's the bet on the over under of that? Well, again, our medical provided a conversation at Highlands with their leadership team a few months ago, and we were talking about a 5-year plan and our 5-year plan, and we were like, hey, here's our 5-year plan that needs to sync with your 5-year plan, and we were having those kind of strategic conversations. And one of the stats that stood out to me was that the NIH, National Institute of Health, was 64 active patients per 10,000 in your population. So when we get to 1 million, and again, we're going to be there, we moved from 28,000 active cancer patients to 64,000 cancer patients in this region. Big increase. So we can expect that because cancer doesn't discriminate. And so I think in that regard, paying attention to it, again, what can we do for early detection education? Maybe we can affect that 64 number, maybe reduce it by a little bit, but it's still such a prevalent thing. And so whether it's Hope Cancer Resources or, again, some of our other partnering organizations that are providing support in cancer, as a community and as a region, we've got to be able to figure out how we're going to support that and help that happen because we know the need is there. We've got to have the community come along with us in providing those resources.
Sure. I think that's a really good segue into what I had next for you. So last year, we had a year of re-envisioning hope, if you will. And so we rebranded the organization, went through all of that. We built a new website, and we came up with a new tagline. So support, educate, and prevent. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that and kind of where your plan as a CEO is to take us to this next level and into the future.
Yeah. Again, I think it's, we alluded to it earlier, but, a lot of what we've done traditionally is a lot of high touch, one-on-one, life on life. And I don't see that changing necessarily. I think there's a lot of that is designed that way for a reason. Mm-hmm. So it's really about now, how do we think about if we reimagine the word resource? Because right now, a resource could be an hour in the gym with Hannah, or it could be in our care closet, which again, program we want to build and expand on, and providing, necessary cancer specific types of items and supplies to kids. So, but again, very high touch, very physical interaction. I think the more education we can do, right? We need to get into more community rooms, if you will, talking about choice, doing more workshops, more informational. But again, that could be live on live. It could also be digital. Mm-hmm. Like, if we did a 1 hour workshop on sun safety, and every spring we have our skin cancer screening event. April is the 17th, or my hand up,
28th.
April 28th, right? Put it on your calendar. Because we've been in it for 12 years. It's a super great event. But again, high touch. We have our dermatology partners come in and support that program. It's fantastic. Again, when we see, about a quarter of the people that come get a referral, and people have come back and said, they found, in some cases, very serious cancer because they came to their screening event. Well, again, high touch. But look, if we did a workshop in person with 30 people in the audience, okay, that's great. But what if that was digital and it was on demand?
Yeah.
And we had a 1 hour workshop webinar on sun safety, but some segment of that was in a 2-minute block on how to read a sunscreen label.
Yeah.
Right. And so continuing to all of those are resources that we could put in play. And again, I think one of the things that I think y'all did a great job, and we took from the idea, was inspired by another organization in Indianapolis around, when you go to our website, you've got 2 navigation panes. I need help, or I want to help.
Yeah.
That I need help is the patient or the caregiver just looking for answers, right? I need help. Where do I go? And our website takes you there. I want to help. I want to volunteer. I want to donate. I want to provide. I want to do a drive for your care closet, whatever. Yeah. So taking those kinds of things more digitally. And so I think that is obvious. And we can make that investment, and it continues to play itself out. So finding, again, the skin cancer screening event is a perfect way to, again, prevent / early detect. Where else can we do that? Y'all ran the wellness lab last fall. Yeah. Fantastic event, focused on breast cancer. A lot of people who are in survivorship had come, and just so many great resources that y'all put in front of people. And these were vendors, like you had your vendor fair, right? Your vendor booth, right? Yeah. And people could walk through and go, oh, look, here's a product that I can replace what I currently use. And this is better for me. I don't use this at all. I should do this. Or we have our nutrition station. Here's a way to handle food in ways that can actually promote that. So I think those kinds of events that can actually educate and create some positive energy around a hard topic. Yeah. I think those, to me, reimagining by what we mean by the word resources is massively important, particularly in the educate, prevent space.
Okay, so you just talked about all of those great things on our website, and on the how I can help. Yeah. How can we get our community to show up, whether it be donations, volunteering, having those fundraising events for us, things like that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways, and you mentioned a couple of them there, but I think if you're as passionate as we are about cancer, and there's so many great causes in Northwest Arkansas, and wherever that people want to be generous to, we support that. Yeah. Cancer may not be your passion, and it may be something else, and there's lots of organizations that need help. And we've got a culture in Northwest Arkansas that is very giving, very generous, all right? The easy thing to say is make donation, but I think time, like volunteers, like when we need capacity in our office and we have volunteer spots that people can, handle our front desk or whatever, people can, stuff in envelopes on something, right? There's practical hands and feet types of things that people can do. Drives for our care closet, helping us with in-kind donations on events. There's things that people can get involved in, and all the way toward supporting patients in our clinics, because we run that volunteer program in our oncology practice here in Northwest Arkansas, in Highlands practice, I should say. But there's a lot of ways to use your gifting, right? And nothing's too menial or small, and that's real capacity. And so with that growth, we need the community around us, and there are plenty of ways. Go on the website. Those are listed. Call us. We need your help because we're at capacity, and we need more resources to get them into the hands of people that are confronting cancer.
For sure.
All right, Chuck, we've got about 1 minute left. So what is one final thought that you would like to leave our listeners with?
I would tell you this. I've had more than one person say, well, I've heard of Hope Cancer in my cancer, but I didn't need that, and whatever that meant, like, it was like they had a preconceived idea. And, again, in the comprehensive list of the things we do, it's not so much that, any person would need all of them. Maybe they just need one thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just one. And so I think that for us, what's on my heart is those, whoever we're not helping that we could help, I'd want them to know that, to have confidence, right? Borrow the confidence from the 4,000 patients, the 6,000 people overall that came to us in 2025. Mm-hmm. Borrow confidence from them to say, I'll call. I'll try that support group. I'll go to that workshop. I'll give that training thing a chance. I've been trying to quit tobacco. One of our testimonials, I know we're out of time, but she was like, I'm a great quitter. I quit all the time, right?
Yeah, it's easy.
It's the problem is I keep going. And, her testimonial was, but when I met with Leisha, she gave me the confidence. She gave me the practical tools, the reasonable goals, the things. And I've been tobacco free for however long, right? And I think give us a chance, give us a try. Don't be nervous about what it is or it isn't. Come find it. I think you'll find that we've got, again, highly skilled, highly professional people who understand. Every story is unique. We know that. We want to be a part of your story. And that's what I hope people would understand.
Yeah. We don't want anybody to ever feel alone.
Right. Absolutely.
Very well said. Well, Chuck, thank you for being our very first guest on Unscripted. I'm very excited. To all of you listeners, thank you for tuning in with us today for the fabulous Chuck Hyde. I am your co-host, Jamie Dietrich, and this is my fabulous co-host.
I am Brittany Harmon, and on our next episode, we'll be talking to our wellness manager, Hannah, going along with the Prevention Awareness Month and all the different things that she has planned.